Good morning, Unity of Gainesville. Welcome, welcome. It's so wonderful to have everyone here today. We're going to sing an oldie but goodie to open up with. It's called Come Spirit Come. Howard Hanger from the Jubilee Church in Asheville, North Carolina had rewritten some lyrics, and I thought, hey, I'm going to rewrite some lyrics too, because it's a great song. Come, Spirit, come, be with us now. Expand our hearts and show us how to best express your abiding peace as we shine forth with grace and ease. Come, Spirit, come, be with us here. Illuminate, make all things clear. We trust in you to show the way. Teach us to live in love each day. Come, Spirit, come, as we begin to learn your truth without within. Help us to grow and make the choice to sing life's song with your sacred voice. To sing life's song. Come, Spirit, come.
Yes, Jennifer, thank you so much. We know Spirit is always with us, but that music is just setting the tone for this sacred time together. Thank you for agreeing to be our musician this morning. And I want to welcome everybody. Let's see, sing, yes. I want to welcome everybody to this Zoom session on this second Sunday of September already. I'm Jo Sherwood, and I'm serving as your celebration assistant this morning. And our guest speaker is the wonderful Reverend Angela Harmon. Welcome, Reverend Angela. Reverend Angela's topic is What's in a Name? And she tells us that the name God may actually offend or cause individuals to depart from utilizing natural law and fundamental truths rightly. The label God has also been wrongly accused of all the wrong in our personal worlds and the world at large. Reality is, labels don't define what they describe. Each lives as their minds conceive, oftentimes based on traits inherited, individual upbringing, or environmental surroundings, possibly distorted or misinformed by others who are closest to us. You have the power to experience the profound beauty of life without needing to label it. Reverend Angela is going to tell us how to get of our own way, especially where labels are considered. Now, I have a few announcements to make this morning. I want to let you know that everyone had a wonderful time at the 2021 UMass retreat at Cayuga. There's the 6 of us from Unity of Gainesville who attended and wanted to announce now that the location for next year's retreat will be different. not going to be at Canoga next year. It's Lake Junaluska, North Carolina. You may want to pencil that in September 19th to 23rd. You can never be early in getting something that special on your calendars. Also wanted to let you know, as a heads up, if you receive an email from Vainco telling you that your Give Plus mobile app will no longer be available, it's legit. Don't worry, you're not being hacked. They're just changing Give Plus mobile to Vanco mobile. So be aware of that and don't panic. Your user ID and password will remain the same. So after you your email, if you're a current Give Plus subscriber, please go ahead and make the switch to the Vanco mobile app. You'll be given the instruction email. Now we have a special notice regarding our minister search. The board and the search team got together and made it official that we are now opening our minister options, vacancy options, to include what is called a minister of record, which will enable us to consider the hiring of a minister who is not going to be required to move to Gainesville, but can serve as a remote minister in a sense. And we'll have a lot of options and discussions with a person who may be of interest in that. We'll direct them to contact the Unity Worldwide Ministries posting, and then they will get directed to our search team from there. I'm just really excited about the possibilities. You know, this is a whole new world and whole new possibilities of how church is being done. Okay, and for all of our other announcements and events, please go to our website as usual, browse around there. We are in the process of upgrading it, so there will be a few changes coming up. So you may want to start navigating and be patient as we tweak it and do all the improvements that we can. It will allow us a lot more bells and whistles to play with as well. So if anyone's here with us for the first time via Zoom, thank you for coming and welcome. I want to share with you what I find really special about Unity of Gainesville. There's so many things, but I've been, after coming back from the Canoga retreat, it really hit me how fortunate we are to have the youth education program that we have. The youth director, Helen Vaughn, and the students have been very dedicated in attending our youth sessions on Zoom. They attend, it's available every Sunday at 10 a.m. And now they're going to offer Wednesday nights for YOU from 7 to 8. So you can see those links on the website as well. And there's a fall rally that's being planned as well. So it's very exciting. And I really applaud Helen Vaughn and the kids for sticking it out and making the best with their spiritual growth and opportunity. So just want to give a plug for our youth department. Now, Jennifer, do you have your opening song ready to play for us now?
I do. This is the new one I wrote just for Reverend Angela. It's you might hear a little Build Me Up Buttercup in there. I cannot tell a lie. I did take just a little bit. Who do we turn to when we pray? Who do we call on every day? Some choose God, some choose Allah, whoever it is. It's love we follow around the world. The name may change, but higher power still remains right within us here inside, ready to be our guide. Whatever we call you, there you are. Whatever we need, you're in our hearts. It's not about the name, they are one and the same. Whatever we call you, there you are. Whatever we need, you're never far. Supporting everything we do, whatever we call you. Who's the light when darkness comes? Who is alive when we feel numb? Some choose Jesus, some choose Buddha, whoever it is. They'll work right through you, leading every step we take and every single choice we make. Right within us here inside, ready to be our guide. Whatever we call you, there you are. Whatever we need, you're in our hearts. It's not about the name, they're one and the same. Whatever we call you, there you are. Whatever we need, you're never far. Supporting everything we do, whatever we call you. Holy Spirit, Lord of light, you're the consciousness making everything alright. Pure power, divine mind, present all the time. Whatever we call you, there you are. Whatever we need, you're in our hearts. It's not about the name, they are one and the same. Whatever we call you, there you are. Whatever we need, you're never far. Supporting everything we do, whatever we call you. You're supporting everything we do, whatever we call you. Joe, you need to unmute, I think.
Okay, we'll have the debut of our new prayer chaplain, Sherry Johnson, will be reading the daily word. Maybe Sherry Johnson lost connection. Mateo, is Sherry still on the session? Okay, I'm going to grab my daily word. I'll be right back. Okay, I have the daily word here. It's a good one, guidance. The phrase is, I open my mind and heart to receive my guidance. If you can hold that thought for a moment, say it to yourself. I open my mind and heart to receive my guidance. Sometimes I have insisted on figuring things out for myself rather than asking for anyone's help. Over the years, I have learned the value of asking for guidance and sharing what I've learned when others ask. As we exchange ideas, we may tap into a higher wisdom that had not been apparent to either of us alone. This higher wisdom is not outside myself. It is a still small voice, mine to call upon at any time. I am always able to ask for guidance to show me the way forward. I access my inner guidance by opening my mind and heart in prayer. Then I watch and listen, remembering that divine guidance may come in a familiar way or perhaps in an unexpected way that will surprise and delight me. And from Isaiah 55:9, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Let's hold that thought again in our hearts. I open my mind and heart to receive my guidance. Always needing guidance. And since Sherry, we lost Sherry, I'll go ahead and do our prayer request. Just a quick reminder that our prayers are usually placed in our prayer box when we meet in person, and we do pray over them, and the chaplains pray over them during this time of our service. And you can find your ways to make your prayer requests on our website. Just click on the request prayer here, which is located under the Sunday service link. And you can also use the free youpray.com app on your smartphone. So if we can all mute ourselves while we pray over the request. You may speak aloud the names of those that you would like to include during this time of prayer, during this Zoom session. Just holding these names. We know God is all good. God is all powerful. God is all present. God is divinely ordering as we divinely order all that we need, all that we want, and all that is for the best for all in all circumstances. And we know this is to be true, and we say, Amen, and thank you, God. And so it is. So, Reverend Angela, we're waiting to hear what's in a name and how we can avoid those pesky labels. So, Reverend Angela.
Oh, very good. Awesome. Hello, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. I don't see myself, so hopefully you can see me. I still see you, Joe. And I'm always honored to be here. And the labels that we have are just that, just labels. Shakespeare said, a rose by any other name is still a rose. And that intrigued me to come up with this particular talk. And well, Joe was speaking, I actually lost my talk again. So let me go find it so I can stay on track, because I do have some news for everyone, and I'll save that to the end. Yesterday was 9/11.
You're muted, Angela.
Okay, unmute. Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Can you hear me now? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Awesome. So yesterday was 9/11. I think everybody thinks about where they were that day. And my granddaughter actually came to visit for the first time this summer, as I was mentioning a pre-call. And they honored that day in a way that I've never felt before. And I too did. I wore a rainbow dress because Lyric's favorite color, those who haven't seen Lyric, she's playing over there. She might pop in because she's drawn to the music that Jennifer does. So, but she and I went to Stone Mountain yesterday. And if you haven't been to Stone Mountain, you know, they call it a mountain, but it's a rock, people. So when we say a name, but that rock, I think, is a vortex. So I call it the Rock Hotel. If anybody's ever not stayed at the Evergreen Marriott, I think you should take a staycation and go there. And it's something about it. So including my former spouse, who I divorced years ago, he helped me create the child's name I'm about to say today, which is my son, Jamal. So I want to wish my son, Jamal, happy birthday. He turned 37 today. And on 9/11, that year of his birthday was going to be the next day, he felt something. He woke up that morning because he was still in school and we were all getting ready. I was still working for IBM and, you know, that mother mode, getting everybody out of the house, but he felt some kind of way. And I had to pause and we all listened. And my daughter said she felt something too. So we all went to works and schools, and no later than 9 something, we were all seeing what my children felt. So I'm saying that to start to say is that we are resonant with that which is greater than we are. We couldn't really put a name on what was happening that morning, but my children were actually feeling something, and we didn't know what the something was. And we all went off to school, you know, we all went off to whatever, we all went off, and 20 years later, here we are. So now 20 years later, here we are in a pandemic. What I'm finding with how I run my life is that Shakespeare was a big part of my life when I was growing up. I studied Shakespeare reluctantly. It was torture, it felt like, in high school, but there was some words in there and some meaning in there to tell us life is going to have both things happening at the same time. Some really wonderful things and some really powerfully tragic things, like Ida coming through. You know, Ida did some damage, and Ida didn't hit everybody. Why did I? So, you know, and why we name her Ida? You know, all the Idas in the world are probably upset. You know, I'm not a hurricane, but, you know, my girlfriend's name, her mother was named Ida, and I'm gonna call her out and I'm gonna have to tell her we have a prayer call tonight. So I'm like, I said your name, I forgot to ask permission first, but I'm sure she'll be fine with it because she's ready to stir some things up in her life, move from Detroit and move to another place. And she's been kind of hemming and hawing. And her mother came through to shake her up, is what I told her. And that's, I believe, what change is. Change shakes us up. I've got a book here. I don't know if anybody's ever remembered this book, Who Moved My Cheese? And that's about change. We don't always necessarily want to change. So let's hold that thought. From Shakespeare's play, when he said, you know, a rose by any other name is still called a rose, what I really think he was talking about was the quality of life. And when we look at the quality of life, we pay attention in every moment that we're in. And we may not be able to name it what it is, but if we're paying attention to it, we will either know whether we like the way that feels or we don't like the way that feels. And if we like the way it feels, we're going to keep doing it. If we don't like the way it feels, it's not a quality thing. Let's not do that anymore. as I look at the names, what's in a name, I'm having the summer of me, and summer is almost over. And I didn't intend to have the summer of me, but I've been in prayer a lot this summer. So the universe will orchestrate what we need when we're in prayer. We may not even want it. I missed my granddaughter, but it was orchestrating what I'm going to share with you as we close. Names mean a lot to me when it came to being raised, because I was watching television a lot. Television came out, and I think the last time I talked to you, I said some names like Gilligan's Island, Love Boat, Columbo, The Three Stooges, Gunsmoke, Rifleman, Bugs Bunny. All that stuff is coming on right now. And it reminds me, some of it reminds me when I was my granddaughter's age, if you just got a sneak peek of her. And it went all, because Perry Mason came on even before I was born. So if my godparents were watching Perry Mason was oozing into my head. And I am very much state your case kind of person. So it's very important for us to figure out what's getting seeped into our heads. And, we may name it something, but when we're growing up, we may not have the same name for something that somebody else has, as the song sang, which was beautiful, because the spouse that I made my birthday boy with, I talked about God initially, and he was all about Allah, but we married. But it was the same thing to me. It just didn't, you can call it what you want to, is why Science of Mind made such a big deal to me, because it said it called it. The thing itself. And when you call it, that means it's everything, because that's what they were telling us when we were growing up, that it's in everything, but they were giving it a name. So is it in the rock? Is it in the sun? Is it in the stars? Is it in the moon? Is it in me? Is it in you? Yes to all of those. So if we label it, I guess God gave Adam permission to label it, and we're relabeling it. So let's not label it. Let's give it the feeling of what it is. So let's look at what names there are. I looked up, just to kind of put us on the same page for a minute. I looked up dictionary.com's definition of a name: a word or a combination of words which a person, place, or thing, a body or class, or an object of thought is designated or called or known. Mere destination or designation. He was a king in name only, as an example. Or the verb give a name the baby. My granddaughter's name is Lyric. Your names are your names. Although my name was not Angela when I was born, funny to say. It was something different, but it had angel in it. So our adjective is famous, widely known. That's a name like, whose name can I show you? Disney. It's going to be the 50th anniversary of Disney this year. And I thought I was going to Florida, but with the, with the pandemic situation going on, I might have my Magic Kingdom right here at my house this year, or go to the Rock Hotel and do it. So I already had reservations to go, and I really like the Magic. And they said it's the happiest place on earth. And I think that one of my themes in life is just to be happy, knowing what happiness is. So if someone walks in the room, you can tell whether they're happy or sad. And we have to figure out whether we want to be happy or sad people. We label it angry or jealous or fear, or all of those things are really under sadness. And happy, I mean joyful, playful, kind, tender, patient. And if you're hearing the words that I'm using, they're all about character. So one of the definitions mentioned king, and I feel I'm a queen. But I became a doctor on Tuesday. That'll be a part of the end. I labeled myself doctor, so nobody higher than me, but God has labeled this, and I'll give you the reason why. So if anybody knows the movie, The Man in the Iron Mask, and that movie has been coming on quite a bit lately. Leonardo DiCaprio plays twins. there's a good king and a bad king. So I was saying a sad king and a happy king. So the sad king is actually the ruler right now, and he's a tyrant. I mean, off with their heads kind of king. And what we find out is there's a lie behind this other possible king. He was born at the same time, but they hid him. They even told the mother that he had died in birth. And what had happened was the father knew that kingdoms were split by feuding brothers, so he wanted to get rid of them. And on his dying bed, he shared with the wife that he wasn't dead. He sent him off to the countryside to be raised. So she wanted to restore his birthright, but the sad son, which was a tyrant son, wanted to be king. So he hid him in a iron mask because they looked just alike. So they couldn't reveal who he was. So not to parry with the story, watch it, but at the end, all lies had to be revealed. And what I want to say is that lies fall under the sad category. If we start telling little bitty untruths, that we're sad about something, we're unhappy about something, something's angered us, something has torn us apart. Doesn't mean we're not going to have those feelings, because we're definitely human. What we want to encourage, like the Musketeers are, one for all and all for one. We're supposed to be there for each other when we do have those low moments. And people will label them depressed or angry or fearful, and the time when somebody needs someone the most, they're not around. Or if someone needs someone the most, they disappear. Where'd Angela go? Well, she went, yeah. Sometimes you're going to pray, but sometimes you're going to hide. Only you know. If you're going to pray, that's a happy thing. If you're going to hide, that's a sad thing. And you get different outcomes when you do one or the other. We are in an abundant universe. And, I was going to name my son Michael because I fell in love with Michael Jackson when I was growing up. I guess every girl my age was going to marry Michael Jackson. I'm glad I didn't. But Human Nature is one of his songs. He has a trilogy with that. And that particular song, so many people have done remakes on it, but it made me look up what human nature is. Human nature is a concept that denotes the fundamental disposition and characteristics, including the ways of thinking, feeling, and acting, that humans are said to have naturally. The term is often used to denote the essence of mankind, or what it means to be human. We have the ability, unlike nature, which is naturally doing what it does, and we are supposed to naturally follow our happiness. Something in this world has told us to do less. Listen to that person, listen to that person, listen to that person, listen to everybody other than you. That's a sad state of affairs. The happy state of affairs is to listen to the God in you. And each of us talk about what the God in us has shared, instead of realizing less instead of more. Everyone remake, let's see, I have a quote here I want to use. We love or we hate, no middle ground is what I'm saying. People say there's a middle ground. I think there isn't. When Adam started naming things, he just gave it a specific name, really. He didn't say, well, maybe that'll be that, or maybe that'll be that. It was a cow. It was a lion, not that it named that way, but we have a specific name for things and they flourish that way. I went to, I think I mentioned this the last time I was with you too, that I had gone to Key West because I wanted to really put some energy behind Happy Academy becoming a successful venture after IBM. And they had a butterfly garden there, a conservatory. The butterfly is one of the longest living species on the planet, and its population has increased. And one of the things that I caught in my mind going the second time is that they didn't worry. The butterflies don't worry. I think worry is a sad thing. All you see is the beauty. And when they're in that cocoon, working that thing out, if that, just know whether you're in there being happy or whether you're in there being sad. And I don't think the cocoon is a sad place. And that's what we've made it to be. It's a place of prayer. It's a place where we're uniting right now. It may feel like a bubble to the world, but I think that might be why we got shut down, to know that it's not a physical place that we go to, like we've named it church and we've named it the center and we've named it. The center might be the right name because the center is you. And I like the analogy of the iron mask because there's a kingdom. And when they restored the happy kingdom, the happy king to the kingdom, it flourished. And they could have took the sad king who was a tyrant and angry and off with their heads and off with his head. But what they did with him is let him go to the countryside and think about this for the rest of his life. They didn't treat him worse. They didn't treat him like he treated them. But he has to live with the nature of himself for the rest of his life and what he presented. So with that species of butterflies, I think they grew because they never lessened themselves. We have a way of lessening ourselves, and it's just time for a change. And we are what we bring about the change. Whatever we think about and think about, we bring about. So if we're thinking sad thoughts and thanking God for the sad thoughts, we get sad thoughts. Because I want to replace the word God with law, because that's the confusion. People want to blame God for the bad stuff. No, the law works, the law works, the way the law works. That's why 9/11 happened. It can work that way, or it can work the way of the heroes that saved so many. And one of the things I've learned about why New York got hit so heavy with COVID was because of 9/11. They were exposed to all those toxins in the air that they were breathing. And the first place that this pandemic hit is your lungs. So we are looking at whether we got to get happy so we can get healthy. Happy and healthy go hand in hand. And if we're happy people, it can't get us. So I want, I worked for IBM for 25 years. I was associated with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which I simultaneously got the same time I found the Science of Mind. I heard Kennedy Schultz on the radio, and, there are no coincidences. So for me to get that at the same time, 7 Habits, be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, lyric, you're making a lot of noise. Those are the first 3 habits, and they're private victories. They work. They're us. They go internal, and when you succeed in being there, life changes. And this is what I was able to do after leaving IBM, because I consider myself a facilitator, if I had to label myself, even more so than a minister. And then I said I'm a social scientist. So then I said I'm a doctor. Let me tell you why I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor because I had this story released to me at 58, and I'm now 61, that I didn't know who my father was. And my mother was always telling me that this man that was in the house was, and I interviewed them, it just didn't feel right. Something just didn't feel right. And I couldn't put my finger on what the feeling was. And so I discovered who my father was. And, by the time I'm discovering who my father was, my own kids weren't standing next to me. That son that I celebrated the birthday today was in Milwaukee. And when I was standing by the discovery of the true nature of my bio father, he was in the Chicago area, which is not far from Milwaukee. I'm like, well, why is this happening? And my family was getting more distant. Like I told you, Lyric wasn't around. Something just didn't feel right. We've already revealed the secret, Mommy. You had me before, and you had me with another man. So what? Something still wasn't right. And let me tell you what I discovered. And I discovered this. We'll tell this story when we're all together. But this is what I determined from my diagnosis. That's why I became Dr. Angela. My mother actually suffers from what I'm going to spell it, Munchausen syndrome. And it's Munchausen syndrome by proxy. And I'm going to read you the definition. Is a mental health problem in which a caregiver makes up or causes an illness or injury in a person under his or her care, such as a child or an elderly or adult, or a person who has a disability. And they can label you disabled if they want to, because vulnerable people are the victims. And they have an acronym, MSBP, is a form of child abuse and elderly abuse. So it's, if you don't have your own brand of who you are and show up in the world that way, and know that everything comes from that name that we keep trying to blame things on. The blame is the sad part. That's when you become a victim. And we can live our entire lives in victim mode is what I'm finding out with this discovery. Now, why it became doctor is I live in the South and I don't know when I became a ma'am. I've been always Angela or, whatever. It was never ma'am. And I'm like, do I have more gray hair? Do I look like somebody's mama? What is going on that I suddenly, people say it's a Southern thing. I'm like, well, I've been in the South for the longest. It's a habit. It's not respectful. It's if I want you to call me what I want you to call me, well, this is what I came up with. I was getting my second shot at CVS, and they kept saying ma'am, 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 ma'am. And I didn't know how long I was gonna have to be there. I didn't want to hear ma'am, not one more time. I was gonna jump over the counter if you call me ma'am one more time. Because I tell people I have a little Michael Corleone in me, so I have to pray every day. So I decided I was going to say doctor and see what they say, because they were pharmacists back there. And usually when a doctor says call them doctor, they go right to that. Even if they said, I learned that from the Cosby Show, because they address themselves as Dr. and Mrs. Huxtable. So I said, I'm going to try doctor. I'm like, I diagnosed my life and what's going on with my family. This is craziness. I'm a doctor. So I said, let me try it. So I gave her, I said, please don't call me ma'am anymore. Call me doctor. And they could not get doctor straight until the end. I mean, ma'am still kept coming out. And I didn't have my card with me, so they wouldn't give you another card. So I had to go home. They did go ahead and give me the shot. I waited for a few minutes, and then I went home and got this paper so they could, so I can travel. That was my reason. Everybody's gonna have their reason why they want to have it or not have it. But I want to travel. And so I came back and she said, ma'am, one more time. She said, oh, I mean, doctor. I didn't have to say a word. She just got it. And so she said, where do you practice? And I said, well, I'm a PhD. And I'm like, oh, now I got to come up with something for a PhD. So it's Powerful, Happy Diva. So name yourselves, people, because people will label you. The movie Maleficent came on recently, and she was her own hero. If you've never seen it, she faced the curse and she broke the curse, because we are here to rely on that which everything is. That's the only way we get to heal the world, as Michael wants, is the man in the mirror. If we look at that person every day, and I'm going to close with some of the words from We Are the World. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, it's time to lend a hand to the life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will make a change. We're all a part of God's great big family. And the truth, love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. And so it is.
right, so
Thank you. Jennifer, have our meditation music lead in?
Yeah. Here we go. Yahweh, Abba, Hashem, Father, Yahweh, Abba, Ima, Mother, Shiva, Allah, God, Shiva, Allah, God.
I'm going to do a combination this morning in reference to, I love Ernest Holmes. I'm a scientist in many levels, a social scientist from college, but a science of mind scientist because of him, the philosophies of life. And he and Raymond Charles Barker, they got in a room somewhere one day and just started writing. And on this, my son's birthday, I'm going to read their writing and close with Mother Teresa's recipe for peace. Take this for yourself, every word that I say, and leave the rest that does not associate. On this September 12th, 2021, I am spirit. There is a spiritual body which cannot deteriorate. This spiritual body is already within you. As much of it appears as is recognized. Spiritual perfection always responds to man's consciousness, but it can respond only in such a degree as he becomes aware of it. It is because this inward perfection is so insistent that you maintain a physical body, but because you are an individual with volition, you can, as were, hang a curtain between your physical life and its spiritual cause. Spiritual realization helps us to withdraw this curtain. Every statement you make about your body or believe you hold about it with deep feeling, which cause the mind to accept spirit as substance of the body, tends to heal. And the prayer. I realize that there is a divine presence at the center of my being. I let this recognition flow through my entire consciousness. I let it reach down into the very depths of my being. I rejoice in this realization. I am now made vigorous and whole. I possess the vitality of the infinite. I am strong and well. Every breath I draw is a breath of perfection, vitalizing, upbuilding, and renewing every cell of my body. I am born of the Spirit. I am in the Spirit. I am the Spirit made manifest. Teresa's recipe for peace. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, others may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you have anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. And so
Do we want to set up for our offertory, Joe? Or would you
Jennifer,
like...
do you have the music meditation?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yahweh, Abba, Hashem, Father, Yahweh, Abba, Ima, Mother, Shiva, Allah, God, Shiva, Allah, God.
Beautiful, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Angela, for the wonderful words, the different names or labels. We get to decide, and thank you for that. Next week, we're going to have somebody as our guest speaker who we haven't had pre-COVID. It's been way back. Reverend Jesse Harriet is going to be here with us next week, and Kristen Justice will be the musician. So now I'd like to invite all of us to prepare our gifts of love and financial support that we can donate to this community that we call home. You can use your smartphone to text and give. You can use PayPal, all the ways that are shown on your screen there. And mail, you can mail your checks as well. Please know that every gift is very important and very much appreciated, because it's the energy of your love that carries us forward and helps Unity of Gainesville to make a difference in people's lives. So as you visualize, hold your gifts over your heart and set the intention for our giving as we say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I choose to give and all that I am open to receive. I give in love and receive in abundance. Thank you, God. I am so blessed. So Jennifer, if you can play a little melody while we finish preparing our gifts. I believe you're muted.
If the only words were thank you, that would be enough. If all I could say was thank you, that would fill me up, and I would have the joy that life can bring. I'd have a happy song to always sing. If the only words were love you, that would be enough. If all I could say was love you, well, that would fill me up, and I would have the joy that life can bring. I'd have a happy song to always sing. If the only words would bless you, that would be enough. If all we said was bless you, we would fill each other up. If the only words were thank you, well, that would be enough. If all I could say was thank you, well, that would fill me up, and I would have the joy that life can bring. I'd have a happy song to always sing.
It's beautiful, Jennifer. I think you just gave us our blessing for these gifts. With love and gratitude, we do give. That is our expression to God, to ourselves, to our community, to all that we love and appreciate and support in this community. So thank you for that. And so now we can move into our prayer for protection. Before we end our service, we want to say this out loud while we're on mute, and we'll say it all together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Everybody, please have a wonderful week. Enjoy the love and gratitude always, and stay blessed.
Happy Grandparents' Day.
And happy Grandparents' Day.